Super Rugby round 15. How good, guys? How good was round 14? And we're nearing finals time, aren't we? Usual prediction video, guys. I'm going to give you a preview and predictions of all 4 games, and then stick around to the end if you don't want to watch all 4 of those previews, and just have a look at my predictions at the end of this video if you want. So game 1. Crusaders versus the Highlanders in Christchurch. Yeah, I think firstly you look at the Crusaders. Look, obviously a couple of weeks ago that they had a pretty tough loss against the Chiefs. I just felt that game though, they dominated that first half and probably didn't really get the points they would have liked. And then a few injuries and the Chiefs just seemed to have all the momentum and just seemed to bash them off the park. So I think this is still a classy Crusaders outfit. You look at the team spirit they have, how hard they work on defence, how hard they are to crack on defence, and particularly some of their forwards, assuming they're playing Scott Barrett to Mighty Williams, Cody Taylor, look, all class, All Blacks. And the big thing with the Crusaders, just like the Crusaders of old, when they get their chances, they tend to be quite clinical and they take their scoring chances. So they'll be good, they'll be at home. You then look at the Highlanders. From me, a young developing side, boy oh boy, chuck a comment down about Fabian Holland, guys. Phenomenal. He's been outstanding in 2025, but some of the other players, Ethan de Groot looking to build back into the All Blacks. Some of the young talent that the Highlanders has been seriously impressive with Jamie Joseph. He's done a magnificent job in 2025. I think you look at how this game will play out. The first thing from me, I think there'll be a big element of physicality. The forwards will really try and bash each other up. Scott Barrett on Fabian Holland. I look forward to some real raw physicality in this game. I think the Crusaders, that defence will really try and hold the Highlanders. And I think when it's on, I think both teams will look to shift it into space and execute their attacking plays to score points. I think at halftime, like I said, I think it'll be close, but I just think the second half, the Crusaders are going to be too good over the 80 minutes. They'll hold the Highlanders on defence, and I think they'll take their chances on attack. So this one, guys, let me know your thoughts. Prediction, 12-point win to the Crusaders. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, please support the channel. Chuck some banter down below about my previews, my predictions. We've been getting a bit of stick on some of the predictions recently, but it's been good, the banter, and that's what this channel's all about, guys. And I'll ultimately hit that subscribe button, share it with mates. Game 2, the Reds versus the Hurricanes at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. Ooh, now that is an awesome game of rugby coming up, guys. I think firstly you look at both teams, so you look at the Reds. Look, Les Kiss, he's done a phenomenal job with the Reds, but particularly that Reds loose forward trio is really exciting. The likes of Fraser McWright, Harry Wilson, assuming they're both playing. So I think they'll both look to take on that Hurricanes forward pack. And particularly one of the matchups I'm really interested to see will be Fraser McWright, assuming he's playing, against du Plessis-Kirifi, assuming he's playing also. So, look, du Plessis-Kirifi hasn't had a test cap yet, whereas obviously Fraser McWright has had a number for the Wallabies. So, it'll also show us where is du Plessis-Kirifi at against international level open side flankers. So, that'll be cracking to see. I think you look at the Reds though, again, they're a side, they're going to look to bring that physicality, do the basics well, execute when it's on, shift it into space. I think the big thing I can see coming from the Reds though, their defence. I think they'll again bring that physicality, but I'm expecting a lot of line speed from them. Particularly, I could see them targeting Ruben Love at first 5. Yeah, putting some heat on him and really testing him out. So, but not only Ruben Love, testing out that young Hurricanes backline, assuming Ruben Love's playing. I think if you look at the Hurricanes, again, some of the key players, assuming they're playing, Asafo Aumua, du Plessis-Kirifi, Ruben Love. Quite interested to see the physicality that Asafo Aumua and du Plessis-Kirifi can bring. And obviously that breakdown matchup will be quite fascinating. But the Hurricanes are looking quite a dangerous side, I feel, particularly in the last few weeks. that win that the Hurricanes had over the Chiefs was phenomenal. So, look, if they can keep that form going, I think they're definitely Super Rugby potential champions in 2025, which sounds a bit crazy considering how they were going earlier in the season. I think as well that the Hurricanes, look, again, they'll bring that physicality. They'll look to bring some line speed and shut down that time and space against the Reds. I think this game, though, I think I can see the first half being quite physical, quite close. Maybe the Hurricanes are slightly ahead. Maybe the Reds come back a bit in the second half, but look, ultimately, home game for the Queensland Reds, but I just really like the way this Hurricanes side look. Ruben Love and that Hurricanes backline, game management, the physicality they have up front, I think they're a classy-looking Hurricanes side. So, it's going to be close, guys, but I think the Hurricanes to beat the Reds by 5 points at Suncorp Stadium. Let me know your thoughts on that prediction below, guys. Game 3, we have the Chiefs versus the Moana Pasifika in Hamilton. Oof. Now that will be cracking to watch. Top of the table Chiefs against Moana, the developing Moana side. So I think firstly you look at the Chiefs. Big talking point there, and hopefully he's playing Damian McKenzie. Like, he was absolute class a couple of weeks back against the Crusaders. And particularly, I think not only that, when Damian McKenzie is in that back line, the game management that he brings to the Chiefs is particularly effective. Whether he's shifting the ball into space, doing short balls off him, or cross-field kicking, it seems to completely change that Chiefs attack. And I would say it's like the Chiefs play with a lot more confidence and clarity with Damian McKenzie at first 5. So let me know your thoughts on him anyway, guys. I think another big one though, Wallace Satiti, assuming he's playing as well, and yeah, but that particularly the Chiefs, I think they'll look to bring that line speed, physicality, shut down that time and space against Moana, and with Damien at the helm, they're a good attacking, dangerous side. I think the Moana side, look, a couple of weeks back, you look at the Chiefs versus the Crusaders, and particularly that first half, the Crusaders really dominated the Chiefs up front physically, which was surprising, I thought. But it shows that teams are capable of beating the Chiefs physically if they really do take them on quite aggressively up front. So I can see that's what the Moana side will look to do, and then shift it and look to score points when on offer. Looking at the game, yeah, look, I can see it sort of being close for probably the first 20, 30 minutes, back and forward. I'm sure there'll be a couple of tries in the game at least, but I just think that Chiefs side at home is looking pretty clinical, pretty dangerous on attack, and their defence is looking pretty solid as well, and I think that'll be able to hold the Moana side well enough. Prediction there, guys. Chiefs at home to win there by 10 points. Let me know your thoughts on that prediction down below, guys. Final game, the Western Force versus the Waratahs in Perth. So I think, firstly, if you look at the Western Force, they've well superseded any expectations I had of them at the start of the season. Look, I think they're a class outfit. The physicality they bring up front, their attack execution, how accurate they are, their defence. Still think though, the Western Force, they haven't travelled particularly well in 2025, and I still feel at times they go missing in the big moments in games, that they seem to go missing, whether that's on defence or executing an attacking play. So I think you look at the Waratahs, again, they've been pretty class this year as well. But again, I'd say they're probably a little bit similar to the Western Force. You know, they're good on attack, good on defence, but I just think the big moments that they've gone missing a little bit as well. So look, I think this game will be close at half time, but I just think home game to the Western Force in front of their home crowd in Perth. So I'm going to go a big win to the Western Force, just getting over the Waratahs by 5 points. Let me know your thoughts on that prediction down below. Finally, it's a bye week for the Blues, the Brumbies, and the Fijian Drua. So yeah, interesting talking point there though. You know, the Blues and the Brumbies, how will this bye week, will it help them going into the finals rugby? And, you know, if the Blues get in that top 6, same with the Brumbies. I assume the Brumbies will make it, but whether or not the Blues will. You know, how will this bye week help them? You know, will it rejuvenate their bodies and they'll come out stronger? Or, you know, some players say that they prefer just to keep playing. So a bye week, maybe they lose their combinations, their accuracy a little bit. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that anyway, guys. But look, finals time is not far away. Quarterfinals on the 7th of June. Oof, it's getting pretty close, guys, and yeah, pretty exciting, isn't it, guys? Guys, let me know your thoughts on who's your pick to win the Super Rugby competition at the moment. And look, how good are the Brumbies? I think, from me, if I was ever going to pick an out-of-the-box bolter to win the Super Rugby at this point in time that no one's really predicting, I think that would be the Brumbies from Australia. So, again, let me know your thoughts on the Brumbies, guys. Guys, let me know your thoughts on my predictions. Chuck some banter down below. And, yeah, look, in summary of all 4 games, I have the Crusaders versus the Higlanders in Christchurch. Crusaders to win that by 12 points. The Reds versus the Hurricanes in Brisbane, so I have the Hurricanes to win that by 5 points. The Chiefs versus Moana Pasifika in Hamilton, I have the Chiefs to win that by 10 points. And then finally I have the Force versus the Waratahs. The Force will win that at home, I think, by 5 points. So again, let me know your thoughts on my predictions down below. Chuck some banter in there. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, share it with mates, and yeah, enjoy some good games of rugby ahead. Cheers.